Hey, solar installers, are you looking to get into the commercial industrial solar industry? If you're a successful residential installer doing light commercial, you too can be doing megawatt scale projects in the CNI, as we call it, space. Today I'm going to give you 5 case studies of great commercial industrial projects that I've been involved with. I'm Tim Montague. I've developed over 50 megawatts of CNI and community solar, and I'm here to help you go further faster on your journey into CNI solar. Let's get started. Case study 1 is manufacturing Simmons Knife. We're going to give you some examples from manufacturing, institutional, healthcare, light industrial, education, and a bonus of community solar. Stick around to the end. I've got a gift for you. You know, the CNI industry is really a neglected space in solar. And yes, it is different. It is kind of apples and oranges compared to the residential space. But just know that there is a tremendous opportunity in the CNI solar industry. It's estimated that there's over 145 gigawatts of commercial rooftop capacity in the U.S., and only about 5% of those facilities have been solarized to date. So there's lots of runway. In 2023, we installed about 32 gigawatts of solar in the U.S., and that is a majority of that was utility, about 22 gigawatts. CNI was only around 2 gigawatts, and then residential was about 7 gigawatts. So my first case study is Simmons Knife and Saw in the Chicago suburbs. This is a flat roof, 437 kWdc, 360 kWac project developed by myself and built by Continental Electrical in Chicago. And this was a re-roof. I've done a couple of interviews with Colin Murphy, so if you just Google Tim Montague and Colin Murphy, you'll find those videos. And it was a great project because we combined roofing and solar for one thing, which is a very creative, and some consider it to be an aggressive tactic. I just consider it to be a creative tactic. They had to re-roof. When I got on that roof initially, it was a river rock roof. And so they re-roofed with a white TPO, as you can see there. They were space constrained, and the management team had a goal of getting as much solar as possible, and so we went with a 5-degree tilt system, which is why the solar panels look so densely packed in. So great leadership team, very decisive team, roofing and solar, combining the ITC for the roofing and the solar. That is a key to unlocking a lot of CNI projects because a roof gets 10 years old very fast. And then they were really into sustainability, which always helps. Walnut Acres is a nursing home in far northern Illinois in Stevenson County, 480 kW ground mount project. You can see the roof in the background there. And it's just a very complicated roof where we were not going to get a lot of solar. And so we quickly pivoted to ground mount, which I love. It's very accessible. It's very visible. And we were able to offset 70% of this facility's load. You know, one of the keys to unlocking this project was that we had an inside connection to the board president. His name is Bob, and he was a real champion for the project. You're always looking for a champion who is a key decision maker. We had very limited competition. They didn't even get several competing bids. And we had full support of the facilities manager. Swedish Covenant Hospital in Chicago, on the north side of Chicago, 171 kWdc, another 5-degree tilt project. You know, when you're trying to pack in those solar panels, as you can see on this roof, there's a lot of obstructions, and that's a challenge. So If you want to get more kWdc, you've got to go to 5 degree. Flat roof solar is either 10 or 5, generally speaking. It can be 15 also, but generally you start with 10, then you go to 5 if you're trying to increase density. It does make the installation a little more challenging for the installers. But Continental had a great relationship with the institution. Health and well-being is front and center for them. Trying to create a healthier living environment for low and middle income residents on the north side of Chicago was one of their goals. And they had planned ahead for the CapEx, so that was no big deal. This was also a re-roof and prior to the solar installation, but lovely, urban, low-rise, lots of obstructions, but a good solar project nonetheless, offsetting about 30% of this facility. Light manufacturing, here is Minerallac, another ground mount project. You can see the factory here in the Google Maps. That's the main facility. The roof was too old, so we had to go to ground. And so we built a 350 kW DC ground mount fixed tilt. And here's a photo of Brian Haug, president of Continental Energy Solutions, and Jim, the president of Minerallac, as we memorialized the kickoff of that project. But, some of the highlights, very decisive leadership team, very closely held decision-making process, and good brand cohesion in this case because they make electrical equipment. And they knew about Continental because we're a big electrical contractor and solar installer. So it was just a very easy pathway to get a project off the ground. Here we have Grayslake High School in northern Illinois, I think Lake County. We had a 1 megawatt ground mount and a 400 kW rooftop project. There were 2 high schools involved. As you can see, that inlay of the roof, very complicated roof, but great rooftop project and a lovely little ground mount on a field that they were doing nothing with, right? So, and the utility allowed us to do some virtual net metering on this project, which is a little twist because the project was needing to interconnect to a pole that was not right at the facility. So great little, what I call large CNI project for an educational institution. On the right here, you see Solar Star in Urbana, Illinois. It's a ballasted ground mount community solar project that I've done an interview with Scott Tess on. Check that out. Scott Tess of the city of Urbana is the sustainability director for the city. And this is a community solar project where you build a central array. This is 2 2-megawatt projects side by side. And so all said, it's over 5 megawatts DC. And they're selling that power to low and middle income residents of the area at a discount. So the local residents are saving money. They're buying clean electrons. And the city is now getting revenue by leasing their land to what is Total, the French energy conglomerate. They are the long-term asset owner, and it's a win-win-win. I've got a few cutouts from my SOQ, Statement of Qualifications. This is one of the things that I help solar installers develop is an SOQ. So we did a bunch of work with and continue to work with Summit Ridge Energy. These are just some thumbnails from community solar projects. Community solar is a fantastic way for robust EPCs or installers to get lots of megawatts under their belt. So if you're not building community solar projects, reach out to me. Reach out to me on LinkedIn and or at my website, cleanpowerhour.com. So in this SOQ, which I'm happy to send you a copy of if you connect with me on LinkedIn or send me a note via my website, you see we've got it broken into categories: manufacturing, education, retail. I think I have a retail slide. Here's the retail slide. We did a bunch of Walmarts, a bunch of Targets, and this is just a great way to show off your solar playbook and experience. Check out my course on HeatSpring, selling and developing commercial solar, heatspring.com. It's a 5.5-hour course. You can get NABCEP credit if you're working on your PVIP or your PV technical sales. Great resource for you. And I am thrilled to let you know that I am offering a free 30-minute consultation to any installer who wants to get a taste of how I work with installers. So reach out to me at cleanpowerhour.com or connect with me on LinkedIn. And I'm Tim Montague. I'm here to help you grow your solar business. Let's grow solar.